Hey friends, welcome back to Homeschool-ology. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Niki. I'm a homeschooling mom of 4, and on this channel I usually talk secular homeschooling, but I also share our lives in general, our travel, all the things around here. So if you're interested, I hope you'll stick around and chat. If you're a subscriber, thank you for subscribing. I'm happy to have you back here again to chat with me today. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you what year-round homeschooling looks like for us. All right, so if you've been around at all, you know that we are year-round homeschoolers, meaning we don't take a set summer break. I have explained the reasons behind this before, but I'll give you a quick little recap right now. I like to be able to take a break whenever we want to take a break. My husband sometimes travels for work, and I will take our basics along with us sometimes on those trips, depending on like what I have planned. If I'm going to do museums or if we're just going to spend time at the pool or, whatever we have planned. Sometimes I'll take school along with us. But sometimes I won't, and I want the freedom to be able to choose that, hey, we're just not going to do school this week. Or if we're having a really busy week and I got a lot of things going on and I'm busy and can't really devote a lot to homeschool that week, then I want to be able to say, I'm just going to take the week off, or I'm only going to do math and language arts this week because that's all that I have the time for. Or if everybody in the house is sick, I want to be able to take the week off, so I want to be able to say, we're just not doing school today, or we're not just doing school this week, whenever I want to. And if I feel like if I do, a 32, 36 week schedule, that I don't have that flexibility because we're trying to squeeze everything in. So I just give us all year. We get our portfolios reviewed in August. We're in the state of Florida, so that's our requirement. And so August 1st is kind of like our changeover to the new year. So basically we school from August 1st to July 31st or July 30th or whatever number that ends on. I'm going to explain, because the part that I haven't done is explain to you what that kind of looks like for us. So in a minute, I will jump over to the computer and I'm going to set up our next school year just to kind of show you my planning. Or I might show you last school year. I haven't decided yet. But when I jump over there, I'll show you that. But yes, things are different in the summer months than they are in the winter months. Or other times of the year, because we do have public school friends that are out of school and we do a little bit more with them. So therefore we're not doing as much schooling over the summer. And then especially around Christmas time, we have a much lighter load, that Thanksgiving to Christmas. I used to take the whole thing off. We are not able to do that anymore. But it's much lighter load during those times, meaning we are only doing math and language arts during those times. We're not doing the extras like science, history, group subjects, anything like that. We are just sticking to the basics. Okay. That is another reason why we go year round, is so that I have time to add in those extra stuff, the extras, whenever we are able to focus on that. And so that is why we kind of, that's another reason why we do it this way. And that is kind of what it looks like for us. So we're basically pretty much always doing math and language arts. And then from there, we will be, we'll add in stuff as we have the time to do those things. And so in the summer, sometimes they might be done with their math book for the year, and we'll focus on, doing a unit study or doing, an activity, a science unit where we do a bunch of labs, or, and then sometimes they might not be done with their math because we took a lot of time off during the school year. And so some summers they're only doing math and language arts because those are the only 2 subjects that I try my best to kind of start and wrap up, each August. Like I kind of want to be done with the year before's book before the new school year starts. I'm not religious on that. That's another thing for year-round homeschooling is I'm not religious on that. If they didn't finish a math in a year, they didn't finish a math in a year. There was a point where both my girls' new math year was in January, even though August was when we do, our year changeover. They wouldn't be done. So they would finish out the rest of that year, and then in January would be the start of a new math book, okay? So that has happened many times. We are kind of back to the August benchmark. So, we're kind of there again, but those are the only two subjects that I try to kind of stay on grade level, okay? And so that's what it looks like for us. So we are doing whatever we need to do to kind of be where we want to be come the end of July, okay? And so that means that each week can look very, very different for us. Some weeks it's literally just the basics. That's all we can do. We have so much on our plate that that's all we can get to. And we need the time for that to be okay. Okay. And so that is what year-round homeschooling looks like. I'm going to jump over to the computer and show you kind of like how I plan a year and then what, kind of what happens. And I'm going to show you that in my Homeschool Planet Planner. So I decided I'm just going to show you both last year's and next year's as I set it up. So that's what we're going to do. Here's a look at last year's. So last year we do a co-op, and I knew like this day we would be skipping co-op. And so, but that's why like all the Mondays are checked. This is the week of Halloween, and we are always crazy busy on Halloween. So I always take that week off. I took off the week of Thanksgiving this week, but we did do these 2 weeks of school, and then we take off Christmas. That was our last day of co-op. That's why it's checked. And then let's see, that's December, then we went into January. I'm just going to have January, February, March. You can see that everything is filled in except the week of spring break. We always take a spring break. But that so it's always been based on when our co-op had a spring break, but since in the coming year, that's not going to be a factor anymore. It'll just be at some point in March. So I think actually when I book it this year, I'm not even going to put out X'd out week. And then I'm just going to do it whenever we decide to do it. And then you can see I go all the way. It's all the way through. I didn't put July on here this year because I thought, we'll just take the month of July off. And then it turns out that we are going to end up taking the month of July off. So for the first time ever, I'm actually going to, I had actually factored in an entire summer break, an entire month for summer break. So that is what our year looked like last year. I'm going to go ahead and set up a new school year. So add another school year right here. So this is going to be 2025, 2026. We are going to start on, why is the 4th blocked out there? Oh, I have to actually do it. So we're going to go ahead and start on the 4th, okay? And so I am not going to black out any dates in August or September, but I am going to black out the week of Halloween because that week is always crazy for us. Like it is always nuts, insane craziness. And so I'm going to go ahead and mark that off. And then I'm going to come over to November. We will take the week of Thanksgiving off. So this is going to be Thanksgiving. So we will take this week off. Sometimes we travel. So it might end up happening, like we might be traveling this week or this week. And so that might move, but I'm going to go ahead and mark it off for now. And then we always take off 2 weeks for Christmas and New Year's. So I'm going to mark those off. So that'll be cool because we'll have 3 weeks. That's normally only 2 weeks, so it'll be nice to have 3 there. And then we always come back the first Monday after the New Year. And then we go February, March. Like I said, I'm not going to mark off a week in March this year because I don't know when we're going to be taking our spring break. But we probably will take a break in there somewhere. So I should maybe just mark a random week, but I'm not going to. And then we go through June, and I will probably not do the month of July again this coming year because I think we'll be having vacation. It's either going to be June or July next year. I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to leave it this way because I can always go in. That's the thing I love about Homeschool Planet is I can always go in and change it if I need to. But that's what, so that says we're doing 215 days of school. Well, we're not going to be doing 215 days of school. I'm going to close this out. I'm going to save this and close this out. So you can see here this week in February, we didn't do any school. And so I simply, or it looks like my littles might have done a lesson or two, but I just simply, cancel those week out. And if I wanted to, I could go into my calendar, and this is the week of February 16th through the 22nd, and I could go into my calendar and I could go back in here the 16th through the 22nd, and I could go ahead and cancel that week out, and it would change my number of days that we did school. So if I were needing to report that, that would be something that I could absolutely do. I would show this as no school being done that week. And so it's really, that's part of why I really love using Homeschool Planets. If I needed to report the number of days we did, I could easily do that based on, going in and doing the schedule this way. And so I really, really enjoy homeschooling year round because it just gives us the flexibility to do that. So. Okay, I hope you found this helpful, informative, kind of a different perspective on what school can be like. I know this time of year, a lot of people are wrapping up, at the end of May for a big summer break, and that just doesn't work for us. And if that doesn't work for you, that's A-okay, guys. Like, my kids are, if we ever do that, if we ever take a big, long, extended break like that, they act like they have no idea about anything. They've forgotten all they've learned. They don't know how to do school anymore. And so to just avoid all that, school can be anytime. Mom can say, we're doing school now at any time of the year. There is no time of the year where I'm not gonna, isn't a possibility, except for maybe the 2 weeks at Christmas, because let's be honest, nobody's cracking books then. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up, and I hope you guys will come back and chat with me again soon. If you have any questions about this, or if you want to share your experience down in the comments, I'd love to hear them down below. While you are down there, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget, you can always check us out over on Instagram at Homeschool-ology, and I'm going to say goodbye. Bye, friends.